So my name is Leonard Bitucci. I'm with Core ALM, and I'm one of the ALM solution architects here, and look forward to this session.
Great. Thanks. My name is Andreas Glöge. I'm part of the SAP Quality Assurance Solutions, responsible for our product strategy around overall testing and security.
Hello, I'm Mark Chester. I'm the SAP Advisory CTO, responsible for all the technology within our SAP landscape, including ALM, Solution Manager.
Well, thank you guys. Actually, it's an exciting time for SAP. We have a lot of news. We have Fiori, we have Cloud for Analytics, we have HCP, and I think that however, the customers to start to do all this innovation in their landscape need some help, and I think that Solution Manager will be the tool. I mean, can you tell us what are the tools that are inside Solution Manager that help, or ALM solution that helps the customers to go in the right direction?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think as we see today in a market, like all this innovation, all these changes that's going to drive SAP, I think it's going to be critical for the customer to understand how do they consume this new innovation at the same time, not trying to disrupt the current operation. And so I think SAP has done a really good job, and there's a tools and portfolio of product and services from SAP that really helps customers try to adopt change faster, but most importantly, it's an opportunity to put some of this process in place so they can sustain it, right? So it's going to be a big changes as the customer is adopting HANA and some of them. So some of the things to mention, those which I think if you look at back, it's the lack of where customers hope they've had some of these tools in the past, now they're available, is making sure they document their critical business processes in a central repository, because that's a core to every business, right? And that becomes a foundation in ALM to support other functions within application lifecycle management. Let it be change impact analysis. Let it be ability to able to understand as we make changes what those impacts will be in business processes. Consuming those changes in testing so we can do faster, better regression testing, functional testing, unit testing, all these things in between is going to be, and then most importantly, as you go in operation, how do I ensure that these new changes and existing business processes are going to work as the best work? And so the SAP provides processes, tools, and basically methodology around this so we can consume these changes, also known as run SAP like a factory and build SAP like a factory. And that are some of the things that I think customers should be aware of as they think about taking on some new changes, innovation.
Great, excellent. Well, I want to move to Mark. Mark, like CTO, you already work with a large customer here, and the idea is where you see the challenge and the opportunities to the implementation of ALM solution or solution manager tools.
So thanks, Wednesday. ALM overall has seen a large evolution in recent years in capabilities. At the heart, we have Solution Manager and some of the new functionalities with 7.2 and what will come in the future. But there's also a whole slew of ancillary solutions that create that ALM portfolio. Now, as companies invest in various components of that, and as SAP moves forward into things like HANA Cloud Platform, Cloud Analytics, SuccessFactors, and other cloud-based solutions, and we end up with this hybrid of moving from our legacy to these cloud environments, we're finding that our clients are investing more in ALM as a means to control and connect and create a bridge between our legacy and the new cloud environment. So we're finding our clients first are asking, how do I sustain my reasoning, my business case for ALM in the first place? And that's quite simply, it's still required. You still have to do change, you still have to do testing, and in many cases it's strengthened as a business case because we now have to span into these kind of cloud platforms and across that entire spectrum and connect all the dots. So there's, in general, a stronger business case for ALM with the new SAP technologies that are coming out. And we're helping clients to navigate and design their solutions around that bridge element between the two.
Great, thanks for that. Andreas, can you tell us about quality assurance and solutions, and how this can help us to improve the performance or even the solutions, in which way the solution will be operating in SAP Solutions,
So first of all, we need to be clear that the SAP Quality Assurance Solutions is there for a single reason. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's to help customers to implement and run SAP applications successfully. Mm-hmm. So one of the key points is obviously, okay, how does this happen here? What are the things customers need to do? The first point we need to be clear, it's not only about SAP. Mm-hmm. It's about SAP and non-SAP application. 15 years ago, customers were running standalone R3 systems. They were not highly integrated with other applications. But when we look at today's environment, when you look at S/4HANA, we're talking about multiple integration points with other applications. So when we look at, okay, how does the business process work, it really goes across different applications, different landscapes. And we're talking about cloud-based, hybrid solutions, on-premise solutions. So the SAP Quality Assurance Solutions really provide different tools and methodologies around, the functional testing aspect, the performance testing aspect, and also the security testing aspect. And we all know about security. This is a big subject today, but really starting from what we are doing, we are partnering there, very strongly also with Core ALM, but also on the product side with HP. And we have our own extensions, like integrations with Solution Manager. Labina talked about this, where we now basically say, okay, we want, for example, get information, what needs to be tested. So customers are not challenged with support breaks, cannot implement them because it takes such a long time. Testing is a big effort, but really cutting down the overall testing effort on the function testing side, on the performance testing side, really then focusing on what are those test cases we need to execute. So we basically have our own solution, SAP Quality Center by HP, where we have extension to Solution Manager. We also have the SAP Test Acceleration Optimization product to accelerate how do you build and maintain automated test cases. Then we talk about the performance side, we really focus on the SAP Load Runner by HP product, so they can really make sure when we implement, for example, S/4HANA, we want to make sure that the customers are getting the response times and the behavior of the system they're expecting, they were told they will get. Yes. And then the big subject of security, if it's ABAP-based security, if it's non-ABAP-based applications. When we talk about Java.NET mobile application, this is again where we partner with HP around the SAP Fortify by HP product to now provide developers in very early stages of the lifecycle capabilities to scan the code around what are potential security vulnerabilities here. So it's really an overall solution covering different aspects of this. Function testing, performance, security, these are really the key high-level aspects.
Great. Well, I think that one of the key questions here will be, if one customer wants to start to use this tool or start, what will be the right roadmap to start to use this? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question. I think one of the struggle we see, and probably most of the common sense, or a question we ask from our customers, is like, well, how do I start? Where do I get started? There's a lot of solutions. As Andrea mentioned, there is dependencies, there's an integration points, there's best of breed. There's all different questions we need to qualify the customer and assist before we can give that kind of information. But the most important thing I could recommend every customer, if I were to do this, is make sure you have a solid understanding of this solution, how they work together, what are the dependencies between, build a solid roadmap, and then make sure that the roadmap gets implemented in such a way where it's value add and it makes sure they get adopted. And adoption is going to be key, right? Because there's a lot of value in this solution that we're talking about, and how they get adopted is going to be another challenge altogether. But one thing I can probably, as a takeaway, this solution have matured so much, because a lot of people say, oh, Solution Manager had this issue and that, but you got to look what's available with 7.1, the latest support pack 13 today. and it's a lot of capabilities to address all these phases and processes of application lifecycle management, and then the integration with third-party solutions to extend SAP and non-SAP. So what we're talking about this is not purely SAP, we're talking enterprise-wide solution processes to basically to leverage application lifecycle to support your entire organization.
Great. Well, one final question. If the customer are seeing this live, the idea is, what are the two main functionalities that they can take right away, or you recommend them to implement right away because it's a big benefit of that?
So I think there's a trend to move towards monitoring of that end-to-end business process, right? Being able to apply that real-time business process management, because then we can tie in the change aspects, we can tie in the testing aspects, and we can create a much more automated process if you begin with that. Of course, with Solution Manager, there's some mandatory components. It's the core. Yes. So having it there as the center for SAP maintenance and things is a de facto. Everybody does that. That has to be there. We see a lot of uptick in using Solution Manager for controlling documentation and tying processes all the way through. Process design with tools like Eris as well. But I think ultimately linking all that into the real-time business process monitor is definitely one of the advantages.
So from my perspective, really, yes, there are basically, first of all, customers need to look at where's the biggest bang of the buck at the end of the day. Where's basically the ROI they can really get out of, because we basically talk about many different aspects, and customers basically need to select where do they want to focus on. Yeah, some of the points, obviously, if they already use Solution Manager, that's great. We can basically build on this. This is definitely one aspect. We definitely want them to leverage this content to now go through the functional and the performance testing aspect. I think one big aspect today, which I really also want to highlight, is the overall aspect of security. Because just looking at what's happening on the marketplace, this is one of those areas where I see a real need that every customer deploys solutions which are secure. Because we see this in the news every day, basically, that some other company got hacked. And I'm looking at this on a global basis. It's just amazing, all the different hacks which are happening. And function testing is something every customer needs to do. Performance testing, every customer is doing this. But this overall aspect of security, a lot of companies focus mainly on the roles and authorizations. But we really also need to look at the custom code and the custom applications. And there are solutions in place. Some of them are highly integrated in SAP, part of SAP. Some of them are basically solutions which are highly beneficial, market-leading solutions like the Fortify product around non-SAP mobile applications. That's definitely a point I would have customers focus on.
Okay, thanks.
I'll keep it very short. Two things. If I were to recommend every customer to get something going, it would be around run SAP like a factory and build SAP like a factory. Those are, I know, the concepts, and they include some of the things they're talking about it, but those are probably the most important things every organization should think about adopting some shape or form. And I strongly recommend that they look into these two things, run SAP like a factory and build SAP like a factory.
Well, excellent. Thanks for your time. Thanks to everyone that is seeing this live. And see you next year on SAP TechEd Live.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.